All right, hi, and welcome to Flip the Script, the third episode, the week of the 120. We're filming this on 120 because yesterday was my birthday. So
Happy 18th birthday.
yeah, that was fun. We got some cool stuff.
Officially an adult. I'm sad.
Got the cool Eagles, Sixers, Flyers jersey.
Maybe we should spotlight those jerseys.
Oh, well, maybe I'll go get them and you can talk about something. Anyways, we'll start with the Flyers here. They have 58 points currently, and that's good for 6th in the Metro, which is absolutely pathetic because that whole division is a logjam, and I believe the Hurricanes and Blue Jackets are only separated by 1 or 2 points. It's a logjam.
Currently 58 points, 1 point out of the second wild card, 2 points out of the first wild card, and only 3 points out of the third in the Metro. So a lot of time to make it up. Let's review the week that was.
All right, so we'll start with the Flyers' 6-5 win over the Boston Bruins. This is the game where Brad Marchand misses the puck, and we have a 5-2 comeback win. Great game for the Flyers.
Down 5-2. Didn't think they would have any fight left. Came back, tied at 5-5, won it in overtime.
Shootout.
Or shootout. Yes, that was the infamous play. I think that was the 5th round. Voracek scored.
Konechny scored.
Konechny scored in that one.
Yeah, with the quick shot.
5th round, and then Marchand misses the puck, and even better for us, pull out the win.
Especially against Boston. And Brad Marchand's a rat, so there's that too.
Next game.
Voracek beat the Blues in overtime. That's 2 wins over 2 of the best teams in the league. We also beat Washington last week. We talked about that game in our last video. You should go watch that one. But yeah, that's a big win, especially against the Blues, who are a great team.
It was a great 4-game stretch where they beat Washington, lost 1-0 to Tampa on a fluke, and then were able to beat Boston and St. Louis. In St. Louis, which was huge because we haven't played well on the road. And we certainly haven't played well on the road in the West. So to get up 3-1 on the Blues, they came on like gangbusters, tied at 3-3. Great to get that win with Voracek and the overtime winner. Then the next night, it's a tough back-to-back. Come home just flat. I mean, you're playing 4 of the best teams in the league. You come home and play a Montreal team that I believe had lost 9 of 11. They just didn't have it. Lost 4-1.
No Carter Hart.
He's been
gone for a little bit.
It's they just didn't get it done. Unfortunately, that's a tough back-to-back coming back in. So problem is we don't have a whole lot of leeway in the standings. So even those games we have to win. Good that they came back Saturday, took care of the Kings.
4-1 win on 80s night.
Glad that they won that. This week, there's only one game. Obviously, it's Pittsburgh. Would love to see them win that before they take the week-long break.
That's true.
Overall, the Flyers, I mean, they haven't left themselves any leeway. They've got to start beating the bad teams and playing like they do against the good teams. Otherwise, you're looking at playing Washington in the first round, Boston possibly.
Or not even playing anyone at all.
If we get shifted over, Tampa Bay, if you get shifted over into the other bracket, and it's not who you want to play. We just got to get hot. We got to stay hot, get healthy. Hope Frost can come back up. Maybe some other guys come up and contribute.
Will Gritty make an appearance in this year's All-Star game like he did last year?
Yes, he will make an appearance.
He won the speed skating last year.
Every game.
Against Sharkey. So he should.
Flyers Pens tomorrow. Is that game at home or away?
Home.
Home. Perfect. Again, we are a very good team at home. We are 16-4-4. On the road, 10-13-2. On the season, we're just a +5 total, which, is pretty average. And we're only 4-5-1 in our last 10. We got to be better than that. During the year, you got to get a nice solid 8 or 9 game win streak at some point, and we'll see if we can do that. But 4-5-1 isn't good enough over the last. But I think that still tags in some of that West Coast trip that was atrocious. But overall, hopefully the Flyers beat the Penguins and take the week off and come back, and no time to mess around.
On to the 76ers now, who are 28-16. That's good for 6th in the East. That's absolutely pathetic. Especially since we're supposed to be one of the best teams in the league. Embiid hurt his hand or his finger. On Monday they lost to the Indiana Pacers. That was ugly. The Pacers are 28-15. The Sixers are 28-16.
If you look at the standings, we're only 2 games out of
second.
the second seed. I mean, Milwaukee's run away with the 1 seed. Again, this is where the games have just been frustrating. We're, I think, 20-2 at home, which is fantastic. But man, do we play down. Even some of the wins this week were against garbage teams that we barely won. But 8-14 on the road is a disaster, a complete disaster. Teams that go deep in the playoffs are at least 500 on the road. You should be winning 30 plus games at home and 20 to 25 on the road if you intend to compete for a title. Right now, unless we get super hot on the road, this is a team that should have got more than the 52 and the 50 wins of the last 2 years. I mean, they're on pace right for 50 again, but I really expected this year's team to be in the 55 to 60 range. Barring they get hot, I don't see it. We're waiting for the trade deadline to come up. Obviously, we need to make some pieces. We don't have any shooting. Guys that we've had on the team and we've traded, doing well, shooting for other teams, but they're going to have to make some sort of move. I don't believe you can stand pat. What were the games we played this week?
Okay, so on Monday we lost to the Pacers. We blew a 9-point lead at the half. 6 for 33 from 3-point range.
It's discouraging. 6 for 33. They were up 9. Ben Simmons has a trend going where he has a monster first half and then literally just almost does nothing in the second half. I think he had 0. Again, I harp on the 3-pointers. 6 for 33 is terrible. I don't know what else to say about it. I think it was after that game or the next one, Brett Brown doubled down and said, we're not shooting enough 3-pointers. We're going to shoot twice as many. Well, if you're going to shoot twice as many and go, 12 for 66, you're going to lose. So I wish Brett Brown would just realize we are not a 3-point shooting team. And those nights that we're off, recognize it early and shoot a lot more mid-range jumpers and have Simmons go down low. But these games that we shoot that many threes, we've lost way too many of them. And Indiana's another team that I couldn't sit here and say 100% that we'll beat in the playoffs if we ended up playing them. Should we? Absolutely. Do we have more talent? Absolutely. But we don't play well on the road, and we don't seem to have any kind of goal at the end of games as to what we're going to do. When Embiid comes back, maybe that changes a little bit, but right now we look lost at the end of games.
On Wednesday, the 76ers won against the Nets. A good fourth quarter, a horrible first 3 quarters, and like you said, Brown wants to double down on the threes.
That game was super close the whole
Trivial.
time. There's just no reason that it should be that close. They should have been able to pull away. I believe it was tied at in the third.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled away with a great fourth quarter. Rare exception for them, but the game stayed close for a long time. I believe they were up 9 in that game too at half, and then basically were saved by a really good fourth quarter. Who else did they play?
Then on Friday, the 76ers beat the Bulls 100-89.
And that Bulls game stayed really close too. I mean, on the road, that game was close for most of it.
Birkin Korkmaz got hot. My goodness.
He hit 4 threes, I think, within a 2-minute span. But again, I mean, that's a team that's down. That's a team that we just need to bury and put away and be finished with. But even those games are close. And then I think we followed that up with...
Korkmaz had 24 points in that game. That's
and then
crazy for him.
I believe the game after that, we went and played...
The Knicks.
And, that game, Tobias hits a 3 with 24 seconds left to give us the lead. I mean, on the road against New York, a terrible New York team.
Absolutely terrible.
And, I mean, we're one missed shot away probably from losing that game, too. I mean, I think we ended up winning by 4 or 5 with free throws.
We won by 3.
3 with free throws. But they had a 3 at the buzzer. Again, these games, they shouldn't come down to that. It's disappointing. I don't know why. They play down to their competition, and they play horrible on the road. I mean... Again, you've got 5 teams jammed between 2 and 6, all within 2 games of each other. We need to get up on the top of that. Coming in the season, it was us and the Bucks. We need to establish that and really get on a roll and not end up as a 6 seed because it's embarrassing with the talent we have.
Anyways, that's basically it for the Sixers. Anything else you want to say about that?
I did look up some stats, too, where they were 1-6 on playing West teams. That one win was of Portland in the last second. They're terrible traveling west. I mean, they beat Western teams at home, but for whatever reason, they cannot travel west. I don't know how the Flyers and Sixers can be so terrible anytime they play anybody from the West, but it's really frustrating, especially when we're at the games.
True. Anyways, on to the Eagles now. Harold Carmichael is a Hall of Famer. That was
Congrats,
that was your
Carmichael.
favorite player.
He was
growing
my
up.
favorite player when I was a youngster. Loved watching him play.
Youngster.
Again, it's fascinating to me that it takes the guy he retired in the 80s. Like it takes 33 years. The Hall of Fame processes. I mean, this is a whole topic unto itself. For baseball, whether it's with bitter, former writers and football, how you get in 33 years later. The time he retired, he was like top 5 or 6 in every major statistical category. What makes him a Hall of Famer in 2020 that wasn't in 87, I don't know. But it's frustrating the way that they do that. People like him and so many others shouldn't have to wait. They do this in baseball too. And I know they have veterans committees that put people in, but I'm extremely happy for him, but it shouldn't have taken 33 years. They got to figure out why these people don't get in sooner. It's frustrating. There's no rhyme or reason to it. The process is tainted. Many of the writers are, they hold grudges against people. It has to be basically about your stats,
That's basically it for the Eagles.
For the Eagles, well...
Are you excited to see Andy Reid get back in the Super Bowl?
The playoffs this weekend, the 49ers will be playing the Chiefs. And I'm going to go on record right here and say, I did not like Andy Reid at the end of his tenure, and I was very harsh on him. But I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to root for Andy Reid to win the Super Bowl for 2 reasons. Number one, Philly finally got their Super Bowl, so I'm happy about that a couple years ago. And obviously, number 2, Bill Belichick and the Patriots were clearly cheating, so the Eagles should have won Super Bowl 39, so I can no longer hold that against Reid not winning the big one, because I do not consider any of the Patriots titles legit in any way, shape, or form. As far as I'm concerned, they have 0, and the Eagles have 1 Super Bowl. I'm
absolutely shocked by what he just said, by the way.
About Reid, not about the Patriots.
Well, by
cheating.
The Patriots, yeah. Reid, that was pretty shocking, actually.
Well, that title, you can ask many of the Eagles players, and you can look back. They knew their play calls.
That's true.
They've said it up and down many times. So as far as I'm concerned, that's not Reid's fault anymore. We would have won that Super Bowl. And years from now, when the 30 for 30 comes out on ESPN, the documentary of how the Patriots cheated their way to 6 titles.
Will it be grouped with the Astros?
I will be smiling very big. But it's unfortunate because they've robbed so many memories from so many people with their cheating. And they haven't been held accountable for it. Meaningless fines, meaningless draft picks. Brady got a 4-game suspension. I'm still waiting for the NFL to dole out their punishment for the Bengals scandal that they were videotaping, but...
Wait, the Bengals were? What? I've never
even
heard of it.
The Patriots taping the Bengals at their thing. Still waiting for the punishment from that, as not knowingly cheating, but that's pretty much an admission of guilt, so... Anyways, go Chiefs.
Yeah. Anyways, on to the Philadelphia Union. They signed a midfielder... Mate, not even going to try to pronounce his first name, Oravec. He's from Slovakia, and apparently he's pretty good, so we'll see how he does. He's 21 years old. Yeah, that's basically it for the Union.
The Union have just got to find a way to score goals. I don't care who they sign. They've got to score goals. I'm tired of the 0-0 games, the 1-1 games. We got to the playoffs last year. We won a game for the first time ever. No excuses this year. We need to have a team that can actually compete and get to the championship level. And we also need to start paying for charter flights for the team.
And Jay Jai is really bad at FIFA. He plays for the EMLS team.
He's bad, but he's playing for him.
But he's so bad.
Is he really bad? Well, how did he get on there?
He's so bad. Because he's famous, it's pretty bad how much he's getting destroyed by. I think he was in a tournament and he got outscored 100 to 4 or something.
Well, I can't say much about it. I'm not very good at playing that game either. But we will be at the Union home opener against the Quakes on March 14th. Looking forward to that.
As for the Phillies, not much news either. They invited Alec Boehm and Spencer Howard to spring training. Hopefully, both of them are up by whenever they can get that more control thing. Do you know the date exactly when they get?
They'll probably be called up in the 3rd week of April, like they always do. So they have an extra year. I wouldn't anticipate either of them making the team out of training camp, even if they earn it. They'll wait so they have the extra year of control. Probably by the 3rd week of April, Velasquez, Pavetta, and Arrieta will all be hurt anyway, so that'll be a good time to bring them up. Oh, there was other news too that they DFA'd
Herrera.
Herrera. Shockingly, nobody decided to pick him up. Shockingly, nobody
Shockingly.
decided to trade for him. So he's either going to languish in the minor leagues
For the rest of his career. He'll
well,
be a $19 million minor
No, that's
leaguer.
all they owe him total. Because when they signed him, they actually got him on a team-friendly deal. They still owe him roughly 3 years and $20 million. Most likely, what I see happening is they just cut him, and they're going to have to pay the money. They're going to have to eat it. There's nothing they can do about it, but they don't want him around the team. And from what he can contribute to the team standpoint, it's just done. It's over. It's time to move on. It's kind of,
Bye.
He's going to be moving on. They don't want him there. They're going to try other options.
See you later.
So I'd be shocked.
Get out of here.
They have to technically invite him to minor league camp, and he may play some games there. I'd be shocked if he ever saw major league time again, especially with the Phillies.
Me.
Having said that, will somebody else pick him up? Of course, because it's professional sports and somebody will. But I don't think he'll be playing for us.
And last but not least, the Philadelphia Wings. We didn't forget them this week. You're welcome.
I know.
They're 4-2, and they won yesterday against the Rochester team, who I think that they moved to originally. Isn't that where they moved when they lost their franchise?
I'm not sure. They used to be a really, really good team, though. So I'm happy they're 4-2. Last year, their first year back in the league, they struggled. Didn't have a very good record. 4-2. I'm excited to see a Wings game in March. We will be there the day after the Union game, seeing the Wings game on the 15th. Putting together a 4-game stretch where we'll see the Flyers, the Union, the Wings, and the Sixers, all 4 games in a 3-day span. So looking forward to that in the middle of March. Haven't been to a Wings game before, so I'm super excited to go Wells Fargo Center and check that out.
See the new scoreboard?
I enjoy the game of lacrosse, so I'm going to be excited to watch them and cheer them on. Still got my old Wings shirt. I'm going to wear it to the game.
As for the Philadelphia Soul, the Arena Football League is still folded.
They are still defunct.
We'll continue to give you weekly updates about the Arena Football League because we like the Arena Football
And when
League.
we get to the summer, we will be discussing the Philadelphia Freedoms.
Yes.
Of the indoor tennis. And we will also be going into the Philadelphia Hitmen, the PBA team who...
He gets really very...
I'm just going to save my comments
just gonna leave now.
from last year.
Yeah.
Until later on. No, I'm not going to get into it until we get to that point of the season.
Dallas Strikers. Oh, God.
Yesterday, Jack's got some nice new jerseys for his birthday.
Go get them?
Sure, we'll show him. We'll show him off here.
Here, talk about your bat.
We got a couple new jerseys. Oh, we were also going to introduce an item of the week, a new segment. So this week's piece of sports memorabilia that I am going to go over is my Mike Schmidt autographed bat that my dad purchased for me in the late 80s back in Pennsylvania. I've had this bat obviously for over 30 years. I believe my dad paid $120 for it at a shop, but this is back right after Mike Schmidt had retired. So I've had it all these years, had it protected. One of my most prized possessions, obviously Mike Schmidt, my favorite Philly of all time. Hard to replace that growing up. Still like to hear him call it on Sundays. Really enjoy it. And so this bat is a late 80s bat. One of my favorite pieces of memorabilia ever. Always had it with me. So that's my item of the week, is my Mike Schmidt autographed bat from the late 80s.
All right, here are the jerseys I got yesterday for my birthday.
Birthday jerseys.
Starting off, Philadelphia 76ers jersey with my name on the back. It's the blue one.
Custom.
Nike. Very nice. Next one. This is probably one of the coolest jerseys now. Philadelphia Eagles NFL 100, also custom, with my name on the back. And 26 for Chase Utley, because that's what number I wear. I need to slow it down a little bit. And the last one here. We mentioned him earlier in the show. Morgan Frost. Hopefully he gets called back up. It's like the best name for a hockey jersey ever.
It is.
And it's a Hockey Fights Cancer jersey. As you know, Oscar Lindblom. These are the jerseys that they've been wearing for a lot of the season. Hockey Fights Cancer patch. Very cool jersey. And then, that actually wasn't what I was going to showcase this week. So
item of the week.
Item of the week are these shoes. I'll come close to the camera.
Custom Philly Phanatic shoes.
Yes.
Made by no shoe company in particular. That's what makes them so cool. As with the jerseys, if you're creative and you look hard enough, you can find things on the internet.
Just about anything.
And you can pay less than full price. You just got to be resourceful.
That's what we do. Anyways, that's going to basically do it here for the third episode of Flip the Script. Anything else you want to say?
Looking forward to the NHL All-Star game this week. There won't be any football to watch. Looking forward to the Sixers trying to get on a run before the NBA All-Star. Hopefully that they can, they need to run off 7 or 8, maybe 10 in a row at some point. That trade deadline, I believe, is February 6th, so I'm looking for the Sixers to make some sort of move to add some shooting.
Yeah,
hoping to get an update on Embiid coming back. And, hey, the closer we keep going, spring training isn't that far away. Pitchers and catchers will probably be reporting in less than a month. And the good news about that is pitchers and catchers will be reporting. The bad news is Velasquez, Pivetta, and Arrieta will also be reporting. As with most of the bullpen, again, because we've talked about this, but my goodness, we needed 4/5 of the starting rotation, and we only solved one of those pieces. Every time Velasquez or Pivetta has a bad game or gets hurt, and Arrieta, it's gonna be real hard to swallow that they weren't willing to go out and get another guy too. And I continually say they should have got Hamels, and my goodness, you let him go to the Braves on 1 year for $18 million. I believe you could have had him for 2 over 30. And you keep talking about willing to pay the price to get to the luxury tax, but thus far it's all been words.
You haven't done it.
I'd say it would have been worth it to bring in another couple extra pitchers, and somebody like Hamels wasn't looking for a $100 million deal. I think we'll regret it. I think he beats us with the Braves at least twice this year and possibly more.
Quick shout out to Zach and Noah, who said that we needed to say more positive
We need to be more positive.
Yeah.
So I would like to predict the Sixers and Flyers will both win the championships this year on my positive take.
That won't happen.
And the Wings might do it too.
I would guarantee you that they probably have the best chance of anyone.
The Wings might have the best chance of anybody. And the Union will take a charter flight this year. Super important Union news.
1 charter flight?
Yeah, they're allowed, I think, to take up to, it was 4. I think they tried to raise it to 6, but they didn't take any last year. So.
Well, that's disappointing. Anyways, Vince Velasquez is a left fielder. We'll see you next week.